Perfectionism is the killer of dreams. If you followed me since earlier this year, you'll know that I started a podcast called Everyone Needs Therapy. And, it was very polished, studio vibes, correct lighting, looking good for each episode. And the thing is, when I first had the idea to start the podcast, it wasn't really supposed to be like that. The idea I had for it was just being something raw and unfiltered. And the thing is, it was like, if you've seen the episodes, you'll know that the things I was talking about were very real. And I was still being very much myself. But this studio vibe, it started to kind of make me become a bit more fixed on like how it looked and how polished it was and having certain consistency in the footage and stuff like that. And the perfectionism just got to the point where it was kind of holding me back from really executing it the way I wanted it to. The first season was, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I ran into certain hurdles that I just, I didn't expect. I never expected it. And yeah, it threw me off and I had to take a couple months out to recalibrate. I then started filming for the second season, filmed the first episode. I had a guest. It was an amazing episode. And then I had some issues with the footage, which meant that I couldn't use that episode. And I was just like, what's going on here? Like, what's actually going on? Like, is the universe trying to tell me something? And to be honest, I started traveling a lot in 2024, and I was starting to think, how am I going to continue this if, I have to be in the studio and it has to be polished and I'm going to have guests and all this stuff? Like, how is this going to continue? And I realized it was starting to kind of stray from what I wanted it to be. So I had to really just go back to the drawing board and be like, how can I actually make this be something? Like, how can I just release all this need for it to be so perfect and just do it in a way that feels right for me? And this is what feels right for me. Just getting the camera, just sitting down and just talking. And I can do this wherever I am in the world. And yes, it's not going to have the perfect lighting. Sometimes you can hear crows doing quack, quack in the background. But that's just life. The whole point of this podcast was to have candid conversations and just be real. And this is real. Mental health is not polished and cute. It's not cutesy and demure. It's not demure, that's for sure. So I didn't want to have this polished version that just wasn't feeling authentic to who I am. So here I am, taking the first step to look perfectionism in the eye and bust his head. Bust his head. This is me just being real. So I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. Like, you have an idea and you have a certain vision for that idea. And if you can't execute it exactly in the way that you planned, you just won't do it. I know a lot of us have struggled with that. And so this is your homework, all right? This is your homework for this week, for this month, for this year. Whatever idea you have, start it. Even if you can't execute it in the exact way that you had planned to, just start it. I saw a quote the other day and it was something like, perfectionism is trying to edit a masterpiece before you've even started drawing. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that's normal? Like, how can I work on how to do something better and grow if I'm not even willing to start, right? So that's your homework for this week. Something that you've been meaning to start, something that you've been meaning to try, just try it. Because when you look back in a year's time, you would rather sit there and say, wow, I started that thing and I'm so much better now. You'd rather say that than look back and be like, I still haven't started it. We have to choose in this life how we want to live. And we can't live in a way that just allows fear to take over everything. We have to allow ourselves to be imperfect, because that's just what life is. When you look at a tree, does it look perfect? Does every tree look the same? No. But we love that. When we go into nature and we see things that look different, that's something we like. So why is it when it comes to ourselves, we don't like that? Like, allow yourself to be different, allow yourself to be imperfect, allow yourself to try things, because that's just life. I definitely, was beating myself up a lot about the fact that, I launched this thing and I had this vision for it and I was supposed to be, 3 seasons deep by now. And it's like, let go of that. Let go of that, because life doesn't go to plan always, and we have to be okay with that. And that's something that I've definitely struggled with. Even like right now, I'm on this cabin trip, right? I'm 2 nights in this cabin in Kent, in the countryside. And I had this vision for how it was going to go. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I woke up this morning. I was knackered with a capital knack. So I didn't go hiking. I'm here. It's like 1 p.m. The sun's going to go down in like 3 hours. And I haven't gone hiking. I've had a slow morning. I've chilled. And that's okay. Like, I used to be so fixed on things having to go exactly the way I planned it in my head. And it used to really upset me if anything was different to how I planned it or how I wanted it to be. Like, really, that used to upset me a lot. So I've had to let go of that. Like, your experiences and life can be whatever you want them to be. It doesn't have to be this picture perfect version. If you, using this as an example, like if I say I want to have a nice little weekend away to relax and disconnect, that can look like however I want it to. It doesn't have to be, I set an alarm and I do this and I do that. Like, relax, baby girl, relax. Like, let life be whatever. Try things, experiment, have fun, be bad at things, be good at things. Just be. That's it, just be. So that's your homework for the week, for the month, for the year. Try something new. Do that thing that you've been putting off and allow yourself to grow and allow yourself to get better at it, okay? And in the meantime, I promise to not let perfectionism hold me down. I'm going to be going on some big boy travels next year, which I'm really excited about. And me and you, we're going to be all over the world. Because at the end of the day, everyone needs therapy and we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it. So, yeah, if you're enjoying this vibe, hit the subscribe button because it's free. I heard, apparently it's free.